Hello, I'm Terry Kolath, and I'm here with Professor Adrian Kerr. Our next class with the professor is Marathon and Thermopylae. Why do they matter? Thank you for joining me, Adrian.
It's a pleasure, Terry.
I have to ask, Marathon and Thermopylae. Is marathon the basis of the marathons we know today?
Very good question. And the answer is yes and no. At the time, the great empire of Persia was intent on taking the Greek city-states. And so they sent in a naval expedition, and it landed north of Athens at a bay called Marathon. And instead of marching on Athens and then Sparta and Corinth and taking over Greece as they had intended to, they dillied and dallied, and they spent too much time on the beach and building accommodation and repairing their ships instead of actually making a move militarily down the coast to Athens. So the Athenians, knowing that this navy and army had landed at Marathon just up the coast, decided that they needed to have help. This was a massive invasion. So they went to their neighbors, and not always friends, the Spartans, who were well known for their military might, and they sent a runner from Athens 150 miles to Sparta, and he arrived hot and bothered, but said to the good people of Sparta, the Persians had arrived at Marathon. Can you send your troops, because we're marching northwards 2 days' time, and we need your help? And the Spartans said, oh, we can't join you, because we have a religious festival this week, but we can join you possibly next week or the week after. So he was dismayed and had to take the bad news back to Athens, so he ran all the way back to Athens the next day. So he had run all the way from Athens to Sparta and back again, and he arrived in the Athenian agora to the great interest of the crowds who listened to every word, and he fell on his knees dying, and he was able to share with them the bad news that Sparta will not be helping us, and then proceeded to die. So,
from the run? From
the run. So that was a very extreme, long race. The Athenians marched north on their own and were fortunate in defeating the naval invasion at Marathon, and so Greece was overjoyed. As history went on, this story got mangled, and in the later period of the Greek history, it somehow got mixed up with the move of the news coming from Marathon, which was good news, and the bad news, which took longer to get back from Sparta. And so it got mangled up. So when they decided to have the new Olympic Games, based in, of all places, Athens, when there was no ever Olympic Games there, but they had a Roman stadium they could use, they said, oh, Marathon, yes, let's have a long distance race, and let's make it the distance that the runner made from Marathon to Athens, which is 26 miles. And they said, that'll be fine, that'll be the marathon, and it has a Greek flavor to it, doesn't it? So I write a yearly letter to the International Olympic Committee saying the marathon race should not be 26 miles, it should be 170 miles, and they never write back to me. So it's just one of those mixed up facts of history which has gone missing.
Interesting.
So the next battle, of course, was the famous Spartans leading and the Athenians not supporting them, and the famous battle at Thermopylae was fought by the Xerxes army, and so great was it that he threatened Leonidas, the king of Sparta, to get out of the way because you're going to die. I have so many archers, I will blot out the sun. And Leonidas sent a messenger back saying, good, we'll fight in the shade. And so there are a number of these famous quotes, but he eventually, of course, died, and the Persians moved on, and they sacked Athens. And then we'll finish off about the fight back of the Greeks against the Persians, and how these two battles do matter, because had they lost those two battles, then the great Persian Empire would have swept into Athens. There wouldn't have been an Alexander, and therefore the Hellenic concept would never have happened, and who knows what would have happened to the Middle East.
Fascinating. All these things just hang on threads of whim and chance.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I hope you can be there with us.